Great rise and beautiful beings, great rise and beautiful beings. Man, oh man, listen. It's a TV show on Phoebe called Titans, right? It's called Titans, The Rise of Wall Street. It came out in 2022. And the whole subject is about the banksters. I call them banksters, and you know banksters are cartels. And it goes from the era of where Pennsylvania was like the Wall Street and how they failed and how the British money came in and started monopolizing and how they came up with the 16th Amendment and how they came up with the IRS because they got tired of everybody monopolizing and able to manipulate the stock market. Like, they had so much money, they was able to buy people out. Like, let's say if they wanted to borrow money from Britain wouldn't let the American people, well, they weren't American, they was just born there. They've been there longer than the new pioneers coming from the Europe, okay? So, since they've been there longer than the people coming from Europe, they would ask to borrow money from the United States. And they showed how they started cashing the bonds. They showed how they started letting people, the average citizen, borrow on the bond or finance on the bond. Man, this shit is crazy. And look, the fact how about the 4th or 5th episode, it started talking about how they came up with the 16th Amendment, how they came up with the IRS so they can tax the people that was monopolizing. So I got a feeling about the end of the season, it's going to show how the people that were monopolizing and had to pay taxes weaseled their way into law, weaseled their way into congressmen, started buying people out, because it showed how J.P. Morgan established a bond with Roosevelt. And they also show how people just mysteriously die, right? Man, you should see this part up until how one dude, okay, they said New York didn't like them. I think it was Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt had all the railroad lines in New York City on lock. But come to find out, New York State did not like them. New York City did not want them to monopolize all the railroads. So they started hitting them with a lot of fines. But the way I see it is, okay, somebody with a lot of money start messing with the Vanderbilts, okay? And so they start getting hit with a lot of fines. And Vanderbilt went to J.P. Morgan and said, I need you to buy my shares. I want to be a minority in my own business. And J.P. Morgan said okay and bought like over 50-60% of the business. And that means he was able to control the company. And then he got all the European people to invest in the shares, to buy the shares. And they put Vanderbilt out of business. I'm saying, I don't know if it's true, a documentary, what. It's just good. It show you how the United States were doing things, but the guy in Pennsylvania, damn, what was his name? Cook? I think it was Cook. He had cashed, we was in debt then. He cashed in so many bonds But he cashed them in with the U.S. citizens, just normal people. Borrowed a bond, and then, let's say if you was able to buy one of the bonds back then, and the bond was about $100 then, it would probably be equivalent to $10 million now. You see what I'm saying? So instead of the United States, coughing up the money, it showed how Cook was able, I don't know if it's Cook, Alan Cook or whatever, from Pennsylvania, he was able to get the bonds, but then he tried to do a project, the Pacific, the North Pacific Railroad line from the Great Lakes through Washington State and Oregon, that area, to the Pacific Ocean. He tried to build that shit and didn't have no money backings and went bankrupt. I mean, he went from like $10 billion to $0 overnight from trying to build that railroad by himself because nobody wouldn't give him financing. Because when he went to England, JP Morgan put his name out there as if he was corrupt, lying, wasn't telling the truth. So then JP Morgan took over his whole shit. He got the financing. And he got the financing for New York, okay? And Wall Street collapsed, and he was able to buy everything pennies on the dollar, okay? Once Pennsylvania sunk. Yeah, you should watch it. You should really watch how the 16th Amendment came amended and how the IRS was formed. But this is what I'm trying to get to. So if you made it to this part of the video, just pay attention real quick. I always said that, and this is me speaking quote unquote, I don't really give a fuck who care, who don't care, okay? Allegedly, hypothetically, theoretically. We been sold out. We sold out to the aliens. You ain't got to give me no credibility, okay? I don't give a fuck if you don't believe in aliens or not. Who gives a fuck? They sold out to the aliens, the extraterrestrials, the foreigners, and all these secret societies were able to take our newfound government down. So all the people who fought against Britain, did the Civil War, the same way the Mexicans say, don't worry, we'll get you the United States back, don't you worry. The same way Britain did it. The same way Europe did it. The European countries did it. Okay? So what happened was, you look at all these presidents we got today. They made sure after J.F. Kennedy, they never would have another president go against the agenda. Okay? Go against the blueprint of what they're trying to do. Imagine you got a secret society from another country come in, foreign policy, come in and just off and unalive people that do not do what they're supposed to do. And that the show shows it. You should really watch this show. So if you're wondering what happened to all the U.S.'s great presidents, what happened to, they got bought out. They got sold out. And if they didn't do what the banksters told them to do, they popped up missing. They popped up dead. And remember, it's all about the president is working for a corporation. They're not the chief. They're not the king. They're just like China. If the stocks drop, the president loses job. They showed that show like 20 years ago. In China, if you got a well-off president for a corporation or a company, and he riding in a limousine, he got room service, he got this, he got that, he wearing the best of the best. And if something ever happened to the business, they get rid of the president. That's all that is. That's showing when the United States became incorporated. That's why you have cities today. When you go into the city, it says unincorporated. We still have cities that are unincorporated. People say, oh, I'm solving this, solving that. Okay, you want to be sovereign. Go to an unincorporated city. That's your first bet. Because your birth certificate only show proof of your birth. But when you get that social security number, you become incorporated. Your birth certificate is a bond. Just watch the show. It's going to go over certain people's head. But if you want to understand money and power and monopolizing and how things came to be. So our government got infiltrated early because all this shit happened from 1870 to the 1920s. It's just 2025. Look how fast Europe was able to weasel their way into our government system. Our government is young. Those people that's in office now, none of them are real. None of those people are real anti-Europe people. I know it may sound weird, but what I mean is none of those people that work in the White House and the government, Senate, are real U.S. American citizens. All them people are they frauds. I'm sorry. Those are not real. Those are not no white power people. Yeah, they white power, but European white power. Okay. I don't know why I just used that bad voice. I forget his name, but yeah. Hey, I've been saying it forever that none of these people. You know how you got these people riding around with the Confederate flag on their truck in their house, and those people know they kind from what's in that White House. Believe me, them people that's enforcing these foreign policies on us. Imagine that. They came up with the IRS in the 1900s, like 1905, 1907, the 16th Amendment. Look it up. I'm just going by this TV show. They had to stop J.P. Morgan, who was from Europe, from monopolizing the industry because they had all the money. And then the man, Alan Cook, in Pennsylvania, already cashed our bonds in. And got about $3 billion. Man, it go deep. I would watch it. And like I said, this is hypothetically, theoretically, allegedly. But, man, you should see how fast what is the word I'm trying to use? How fast the hostile takeover took over. It didn't even take 100 years for them to infiltrate the original U.S. government. People got bought out to turn the cheek, to manipulate the masses in less than 100 years. They had compromised all that they fought for. All that they fought for. The same way the Mexican man told the governor of Texas a long time ago, don't worry, we didn't beat you in the fight, but we're going to beat you in the war. The war is the Mexicans coming over the border, going to work. Everybody want to pay for cheap labor, so they're needed. They are vitality right now. So now you got Mexicans all the way in Washington State and all the way in Maine, all the way in Florida, all the way in California, and all in the middle, right? So they out doing work and saving their money, working together, right? They have already legally, yes, legally, because they allowed them over here. They have already legally compromised the United States. So that means when rich people come over here and say, I would like to buy your rainforest. I would like to buy this mountain. I would like to buy this river. You know what I mean? I would like to have access to this land. I don't know why my spirit just said patronize. It might be patronize. Let me see what patronize means. Treat in a way that is apparently kind or helpful, but betrays a feeling of superiority. Treat in a way that is apparently kind or helpful. Treat in a way that's apparently kind or helpful, but that betrays a feeling of superiority. Frequent as a customer, a store, theater, restaurant, or other establishment. Yeah, that's what I feel like. I feel like we've been frequent a little too much. How fast did the U.S. government get compromised? It didn't even take 100 years. They got compromised between when the railroad started. That's when they got compromised. When railroads started. From about 1870 to 1920, they was already compromised. They built a way to get taxes from the rich. Because, see, people kept wanting loans from the U.S. government, but weren't able to get them. So they came up with the solution, let's tax the rich. Let's make a rule so they cannot monopolize the industry, whatever industry they were in. So they came up with the rules, they came up with the amendments, they came up with the IRS. Then somebody slowly weaseled over from the European country somewhere and stole the IRS. Hostile takeover, but you would never know. Somebody stole the U.S. government. Hostile takeover. They infiltrated it from the inside out. That's just like your body. your body don't really go through sickness until something's off with the minerals and the energy within the body, an organ, a gland, the blood, your filtration system. Are your kidneys working? Is your liver working? Is your heart working properly? Is your intestines working properly? You get infiltrated from the inside out. It ain't that you can't absorb the sunlight. You've been infiltrated from the inside out. So the United States was making it so, you remember they had already did the war against Britain. Now they was worried about circulating the money. And once the banksters got involved, I don't know why they felt like they had to get money from Europe to sustain life. You notice that? When you start borrowing money from other people, they're like, fuck letting you borrow money. I want in. And soon they want in, and they secretly buy the shares from everybody else. I'll give you another example. A Mexican, okay, this when I was working for the beer company. I don't know why he did this. So I'm down in Miami somewhere. I'm outside. I don't know why men feel like they could get close to me. They don't disrespect me, but they feel like they could get real close. This Mexican grabbed me by my arm and held my hand, and we started walking. And he said, you know Corona owns Anheuser-Busch, right? I say, hold up. I stepped back from him, and I let him still hold my hand because I wanted him to tell me what he was saying. He said, you know Corona owned Anheuser-Busch now. I said, what you mean? He said, yeah. He said it was a hostile takeover. He said, we got more of the stock, and Anheuser-Busch is only surviving off of Corona beer. Anheuser-Busch distribute more Corona beer than they do their own beer. So Corona went, this is just some far-fetched shit I didn't even ask for. I'm just telling you what went down. I don't know the truth. I don't know the fake. So they went from distributing beer for Corona, Mexican beer. Spirit just said cartel out the blue. Just didn't care. It was loud. So Anheuser-Busch went from distributing beer for Corona to there possibly has been a hostile takeover in the last 15 years. And see, this is how it happens. So let's say you got a company and Sky come in and buy 60% of the stock, okay? What happens is I don't say nothing. I'm on the board meetings and shit. I don't say nothing. But I slowly bring in my crew. That's what you call a hostile takeover. Because I'm the boss now. I run this company the way I want to run this company. So once I feel like I got all the information I need to get, how to do things, how to run things, then I'm taking over. Because I own 60% of the business. That's how it goes. Those how hostile takeovers take over. And then how it happened, it goes from, hey man, you want to sell your shares, you want to sell your shares, you want to sell your shares, and you send your scouts to come buy the shares. You don't straight up buy the shares yourself. You see what I'm saying? It's another way of doing it. And a lot of businesses are like that. I remember one time, I'm like, why they giving me $23 just out the blue? Like randomly a stock just gave me $23, and I'm like, okay, y'all was giving me $1.50 every quarter, and out the blue, this company, and they explain in the reading, this company was bought out by this person. This company, like, it changed hands so many times, like every 2 months. they were sending me another big. I was still had to stop, but they were showing how it was switching hands. So I sold my stock and got out of it anyway. I didn't have to. It was just, it's like whatever I do is gold. I just don't understand why my own business not gold. That show the magic around it. That show how somebody trying to keep you on ice. They trying to shelf you. They trying to shelf you when you in your prime energy. Okay? But I can't be shelved, baby. I'm thawing the fuck out. Straight up. I'm thawing the motherfucker fuck out. Period. They thought I was going to be on the shelf. Nah, baby, I ain't about to be on damn fucking shelf. So anyway, watch the TV show. See what you could take from it. But it will show you how the weasels came in the game and took over. The U.S. still had their hand out begging the people for money that they fought to get away from. They act like they couldn't print. If you done broke away from these people, why you didn't print your own money? Y'all fought to get away from these people. I forget what year was it, in 1700s? Something. Y'all fought to get away from these people, but then turned around and asked the people for some money. So that's how we lost the United States. You know, that's going to be the title. Is this how we lost the United States? That's how we lost the United States, y'all. Yeah. Hey, straight up. Well, I think I said enough for right now. Until next time, unearth the magic. The truth will definitely set you free. Thank you to all the people who bought the seeds. Okay? Thank you to all the people who bought the seeds. I will be shipping you your seeds out as soon as I return. So until next time, unearth the magic. The truth will definitely set you free.